Yeah, that's better.
Mm-hmm.
He's back inside. He's back in a house. No longer porch vibes.
With electricity. Look at that.
Times have changed.
All my lamps are all over the house in different places, so I have an overhead light in here, and I absolutely cannot stand overhead lights.
I am not an overhead light guy.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but it's happening, and yeah, so
cool.
How's week's going?
Not bad. I'm only working 2 days, and then I'm going to Vegas, Trey. So,
what days are you going to Vegas, Trey? Yeah. Are you going to both nights? One night? Y'all want to just give a little spiel?
So I'm only going Saturday night. I'm going in Friday. I'll get in Friday around 7. We're gonna do some gambling.
You're gonna be there Friday night.
Yeah. I'll be there Friday night. Okay. And we're staying at the Horseshoe, aka Bally's, is what it used to be called. One of my favorite spots on the Strip. So yeah, we're looking forward to gambling, playing some poker maybe at the poker room there, and then Saturday we go to Pretty Lights, and it'll be Amanda's first Pretty Lights show, and it'll be real interesting. So it's gonna be a real throwdown. Anytime we're in Vegas, it gets a little weird. I'm not gonna have as much money as I originally wanted because I purchased a car recently and a number of other things. So, but I'll make it work. I'm gonna
Vegas
hit big.
Vegas is to make money.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit big on the blackjack table, and I'm gonna ride that high all weekend long. So, Trey, when are you getting there? Are you going to both nights?
Yeah, I'm going to both nights. I am flying in on Thursday. Wait, what hotel are you staying at, Blake?
The Horseshoe. For the 8th time I've told Trey this. I told Trey, he texts me once a week and says, "Where are you staying when you come to Vegas?"
Curious. I just want to know where you're at. I am staying at Virgin night 1, but then night 2 or Friday and Saturday night, I'm staying at the MGM. So
nice.
It was a little bit more expensive, but I like just the experience of staying in the same place that Pretty Lights is playing seems kind of cool. And we made a pact. We were like, on Saturday we're not going outside of the resort, so we're gonna.
You're just gonna stay at MGM.
Yeah,
you can do everything at MGM, dude.
Might do a little spa day Saturday morning if you guys want to join. Maybe get your
might join in on that.
On. Yeah.
What is the theme, Trey, for the nights? Like Friday, there's a theme. Saturday, there's a theme.
Yeah, night 1 is Ancient Future 3033.
Featuring the horns, right?
Yeah, featuring the horns. So the idea is to do ancient civilizations, but in the future. So like Star Wars would be a good costume idea if anyone out there is looking for something. And then Saturday is 90s night. So don't worry, I ordered 800 glow sticks. Blake got plenty of glow sticks for you to wear. You and Amanda both.
Fuck yeah.
And you got to do some of the similar things that you would have done in the 90s. What those are, I don't know. And
we shall see.
Maybe dress up like your favorite 90s character. Blake, you can wear an outfit?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I don't know. It's really easy to dress 90s, right? So like I may just go generic 90s. If I had long hair still, I'd go as Kurt, but now I don't have the hairstyle to go as Kurt. So I may just have to rock flannel, blue jeans, Converse, and just call it a day,
Or a wig. You get yourself a wig, dude.
Yeah,
throw it on.
True.
You get big on the blackjack table, you'll go buy it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool.
You could do Kurt, Amanda. She could do Courtney, and y'all could do a little couples.
Also, before I will say, the last time, one of the best, RIP to the Tropicana, which is where I used to always stay when I went to Vegas, but the Tropicana was attached to the MGM. And I used to stay at the Tropicana when I went for fish at the MGM. Just quick pop over, and you're right fucking there. It was so nice. So, RIP. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's Totally Biased Music. It's Blake, Trey, and Anthony. I have a new setup, as you can see behind me. This is probably my 4th setup change at this point. So we're back, and today we're talking Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette, which was an Anthony pick, and then Friday the 13th, the first one, the OG Friday the 13th. Which was my pick. So, Anthony, tell us a little bit about why you picked Jagged Little Pill.
So, this album wasn't familiar to me in full growing up, but a handful of songs were. So, Alanis Morissette, big-time 90s artist, singer-songwriter, badass human, badass female. But this album has a lot of nostalgia factor, like I said, from the music that I heard growing up. So this album came out in 95, and I was only 4 years old, but it had a lot of radio airplay. And, last podcast, I talked a lot about my dislike of FM radio, but this album shines a different light on it because it wasn't music that was necessarily pushed down my throat, being an alternative kind of album. But I definitely got a lot of time with it. And I went back to it probably, I don't know, probably before the pandemic. I listened to this album in full because I was like, I remember a lot of things about it and wanted to go and just revisit it, and had a really great time. So I knew at some point I was going to bring it to the podcast. I brought a Ride or Die track way back when it was just Blake and I, but this was a fun trip down memory lane. You know, a lot of Morissette really strikes me like a Tracy Chapman, Joni Mitchell kind of figure of the time of the 90s. And I think a lot of this music still stands up today. It's really well produced. I think there are some things that could obviously bring the album to the next level, but for what it is, I think it's a really cool piece of art. So wanted to bring to your guys' attention, and also just the thought of Blake listening to Alanis Morissette raging like brings me so much joy. So we'll see if that's the response we get. But either way, what did y'all think? Have y'all listened to this album in full before? First time going around? I know y'all have heard of Alanis Morissette.
For sure. Trey?
Yeah, definitely have heard of her. I've never listened to this album in full before, but it was a off the wall pick, and I really liked it. I mean, I like a lot of the tracks that are on here. When I host trivia and when I play "You Ought to Know," like it gets the club jumping, as the kids would say. People fucking love that song. I don't know if y'all have ever seen what's that movie that's like the female version of Superbad. That Olivia Wilde directed.
Bridesmaids?
Booksmart. No,
Booksmart.
Gotcha.
So like there's a scene in Booksmart where they're doing karaoke and they're just singing "You Ought to Know." Like everyone has to sing it. They're not like picking different songs. It's really funny. So it's a legendary song. And obviously she kind of like rocked the 90s. I like that this kind of mixes in like female pop vocals kind of with a grungy type sound, which is very mid 90s. I think even like the Chili Peppers had some features on some of these tracks. I think Flea played on "You Ought to Know."
Is that true? I don't know about that.
I saw it on Wikipedia, and Wikipedia is free, so
I will dig. Sorry,
true. Yeah.
Sorry to take you off your thing. Keep talking. I will dig and find that out.
No, yeah, dig and
I'm
find
curious.
out. But it is on Wikipedia, and Wikipedia is relatively accurate. It also said that Dave Navarro was in the Chili Peppers and was on the song. He was never in that band, so you know, whatever.
Yeah, based by Flea on "You Ought to Know."
Cool.
Yeah, accurate.
I love being right. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed listening to it. I'm happy to get into top tracks in just a second, but I was also curious about Blake's reaction to this, because one side of me thinks he really would like it, and the other side of me thinks he's gonna fucking hate it. And I guess we're about to find out right now.
So I will say I don't know what I thought this album was gonna be, but I was not prepared for this. And like I know her, right? And I've heard her songs. And look, there's a lot of popular songs on here. "You Ought to Know" is a popular song. "Ironic," obviously another popular one. It's weird to me, and I don't necessarily think this is a bad or a good thing, but I feel like the album, it's like this weird blend that like Trey was talking about, where like it's never becomes a grunge album and it never becomes a pop album. It's like every single song is a grunge pop song, and it's not even like pop punk, or I don't know what the fuck it is. That's what was bothering me. It's
well,
like I couldn't.
I think this album, you know, I mean, I have a similar feeling where like I can't put a finger on why I like this album so much, because there are so many elements I think to break down. I mean, there's a lot of themes, minimal instrumentation, you know, but the production's really clean throughout this album, you know? Yeah. So it's like it pulls from all these different genres, but I think that's what makes it unique, is that it's not in this lane or in that lane. It weaves back and forth between it, which I think that's why it sticks out in a lot of people's minds. You know, Trey, what are the range of people that are singing every word to "You Ought to Know"?
Everyone.
Right?
Everyone.
So, I mean, it's just like, it's ingrained in us.
Yeah, it's like a Gen Zer type of deal, probably because of various like media things. I'm sure it was on a fucking TikTok or something at some point.
Probably.
And then obviously it's people that are our age, it's people that are older than us. Like,
right.
You know, it's just kind of people that are like in their 40s to 50s. Yeah, everyone loves that song. Everyone loves Ironic too.
Yeah.
You know? These are like staples to the zeitgeist of the 90s, I feel like.
That's true. And I think like it has a very, like, you know, it's the one thing it does have going for it is like, you know, it's 90s music. The second you hear it, it sounds like 90s music, right? You can't mistake this. this type of music for any other decade. So that,
Right.
and obviously, like, I love 90s music, and I didn't like, it wasn't something that turned me off to the album. You know, I think I would have enjoyed the album more if it were more grungy, but I didn't dislike the album. Like, I enjoyed it, and I really like her voice. Like, it's really unique. It's weird in a interesting way. Like, nobody sounds like her. And there's sometimes where, like, similar to Kurt, right? Like, there are times where, like, Kurt was singing and it was tough to listen to, but that was like his voice. That's how he sounded, and she kind of has some aspects of that as well. And there's a lot of lyrics in here, we'll get into some later, that are like weird as fuck. Like, they remind me of Nirvana type lyrics. Like, they're just strange, and I dig that a lot. And so it was an interesting ride. I was kind of all over the place, and I couldn't like ever determine if this was an album I really, really enjoyed, or if it was something I thought was just okay. Like, I feel like it's going to take me several listens. It sucks that I have to give it a rating now, because I'm going to have to pick something, but I feel like 2 weeks from now, if I listen to it 3 more times, it's going to completely change, you know?
Yeah.
So, but it was a really cool pick. I'm glad you brought it, because I've never listened to a full album from her, you know?
Me, and you know, I haven't listened to any other albums from her either. You know, because I think this one, at least from what I read from, you know, the trusted source of Wikipedia, that this is a diversion from her first 2 albums, and a pretty drastic one too. But I'm very pleased to hear that response from you, because there are a lot of things that I was waiting to hear, which is obviously your reaction to her voice. I think her voice is something that, you know, whether you grew up with it or not, it can change your opinion of things. And I also think too, giving this album more time is only going to influence the way that that you perceive it too, because there's a lot to dig into. I mean, there's these lyrics are on face value really creative, but then on a deeper level, they just gain more and more traction.
Right.
But fuck yeah, I'm really glad to hear that response, and yeah, excited to dig deep into this thing.
Fuck yeah. Well, Trey, do you want to lead us off with your top tracks?
Yeah. Am I muted right now?
No.
Okay, that's good. Sorry, I was just looking through the trusted source that is Wikipedia. Wikipedia, sponsor us.
I think they're struggling financially.
Yeah. Well, they're always fucking saying, "Ooh, give me $1." Like, okay, no. I'm just never gonna do it. Like, I'm
never giving you $1. This is a good pitch for your sponsor. Please sponsor me. I will never give you money.
I'll never give you money. All right, so my top tracks. I'm gonna put "You Ought to Know" at 3. The only reason it's 3 and not 1 or 2 is just because, you know, like, it's the hit, and I'm not gonna be that basic.
Right.
But obviously the iconic line of "Would she go down on you in a theater? Does she speak eloquently? And would she have your baby?" Like,
she's a baddie. I mean, like, if you just showed that line to someone, you're like, "Who said that?" Alanis Morissette. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
She gets a pass everywhere.
Was it you, or was it a movie, or was it a different one of my friends that used to sing that line constantly, like, as a joke? I feel like I have a vivid memory of you, like, sarcastically singing that line, but I don't know if it's you, or if it was a fever dream, or if it was somebody else.
I don't think that was me.
Damn
but,
it.
you know, my memory's pretty spotty. So,
True. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely "You Ought to Know." I mean, like I said, that goes off at trivia night. It goes off anytime anyone starts playing it. Kind of what you were talking about as far as, like, instrumentals being, like, minimal, very minimal. And you can, if you listen to the bass, you can tell it's Flea. After you read it on Wikipedia.com, you really can tell it's Flea. But, like, really, like, the like, it's very, like, a trademark Flea sound. So yeah, that's my number 3. For number 2, I have "Head Over Feet." That was, like, kind of the 3rd biggest, I think, single off of this. Actually, no, it was the 4th biggest. I'm just looking purely at listens on Spotify. But it's this nice little, like, love song about, like, kind of giving in, maybe to someone who has been pursuing you for a while or whatever. But it's one of the, like, few, like, non-spiteful songs, I feel like, or, like, not like an angry track that she has, and I don't have a problem with that. I like it. I think we need, you know, more punk rock women in the world.
True.
This one's like a sweet little love song. I'm sure she has more songs in her discography about this, but that wasn't really, I feel like, the overall goal of Jagged Little Pill. So I really like that song. And then my last song is actually the last track on the album, "Wake Up." I feel like this song could be very much sampled by Pretty Lights, and maybe this weekend we're going back to the '90s. You never
True.
know. But it's this like floaty little number. It closes out the album really well. It kind of does pull on some of those themes of like pain and anger and like spitefulness and whatever, like very '90s grunge themes. There's this like cool little drum shuffle that goes throughout, and I really like the song. This would be a song that I would put on like any given playlist. Yeah, I like Wake Up a lot.
Yeah, I think there's a few, like saying that like you could listen to this or put it in a lot of context. I think that again speaks for this album, and it's like if you can get over if you could shed your ego to a point where you can belt out these songs like vocally singing in your car, windows down at a stoplight, like then you get it. Like this thing is bigger than just a '90s album, because even today, again, you can play this song and it still people will resonate with it. Yeah, Derek, that would be sick as fuck.
Derek, make it fucking happen.
Yeah, right.
Derek, come on.
All right, Anthony, what do you got?
All right, so my number 3 track is another, like there's you can pull out so many themes of like relationships and spitefulness and like delusional partnerships and all sorts of things throughout this album. But number 3 for me is Right Through You. It is I wrote, it's like, this is you can't bullshit me track, like I see right through that shit. And I love the way this album goes from acoustic to electric, or the song goes from acoustic to electric, and it's one of the many tracks on this album that highlights her attitude. Like her attitude is expressed so well, I think, through a lot of these songs, and Right Through You just smashes right through it. So that's number 3. Number 2, I have You Learn. You Learn, for me, it was a popular track played on the radio. A lot of people know every single word to this song, but it is like the song of hope for a person searching for something, learning through experience in song form. I mean, it's really powerful to me. And I love the beat to this song. This beat, it's what I call a hopscotch beat, and on Pretty Lights, that I get a lot of that feeling from a lot of his older tracks, like early albums have like this hopscotch beat where you're just like walking through the streets of fucking Boulder, Colorado, and this song gives me that vibe just through rhythm itself. So that's number 2. Number 1 for me is Head Over Feet. This song, and there's a lot of, I mentioned, there's a lot this album I think could use to elevate itself. And honestly, it's sonic bass, and Head Over Feet to me, if it like, I wish I had the technical abilities, and who knows in the future, to be able to do this, because I would remix this album in a way that just gives it an extra oomph to it, because that song has a sick ass fucking beat. I love the lyrics of it, but like the sonic potential of it is just massive. And it goes without saying, but like Alanis's harmonica playing is fucking killer. Did y'all like that? What do you think about the harmonica, Blake?
I think it's cool. I mean, you don't hear it enough, It's nice.
You want more? More cowbell?
It's cool. Yeah, like it's not something I want to hear. There's a reason that there's not a harmonica on every song. Like there's a guitar on every song, right? But like the harmonica is a nice touch when it is used appropriately, so I commend her for that.
Hell yeah.
And I would like to see her, like, I want to know if she ripped it like live on stage, whipped out the harmonica and just went
dude, she's fucking skilled.
That's sick.
Also the music video for Head Over Feet is interesting, and I love it because of the simplicity of it. The whole music video is literally her close up with a camera singing, and then when the harmonica part comes out, I don't think she plays it in the video. I could be wrong. She might just dance, but it's the music video is solely focused on the lyrics itself, which, in my mind, it's like how it feels to start a new relationship that is just pure, that is just clean. It is just everything you want. So yeah, fucking Head Over Feet, number 1 for me.
Nice. Well, I had more than 3. So I got some honorable mentions, and I think we're not very aligned, which makes me worry because I feel like my top tracks are going to be in y'all's bottoms.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about that too, but go ahead.
So
that's why it's totally biased, baby.
Yeah. So number 3 is Hand in My Pocket. So Hand in My Pocket, I don't know if you guys know this, but the final version on the album is actually the demo version. So that was the one that ended up making it on the album, according to Genius.com, which used to be Rap Genius, by the way, but then they branched out to other forms of music. Genius.com sponsor us. But it is another. So I don't know, Trey, if you have numbers up or anything, but was this a single? Because I've heard this song before. Like I've heard it on the radio or I've heard it somewhere else. So I feel like this is one of her more popular songs. Like, is this a basic pick for me?
Hand in My Pocket, not basic necessarily. But Hand in My Pocket was one of the singles.
Okay. Yeah. So it definitely has single vibes. But it's like an upbeat, enjoyable song. You know, this is one of those ones there's nothing really grungy about it. But I still really enjoy it. And like her voice, man, her voice is so unique, and you can hear it in the song. Some of the way she does like high pitches and things of that nature are just, I don't know. It's like I think the reason I love the 90s so much is like, apart from Chris Cornell, nobody had like an amazing voice. That wasn't what made these bands so special. Like Alanis, I don't think has a phenomenal voice. I don't think Kurt Cobain had a great voice. I think they had unique, special voices that had their own, pieces to them that made them enjoyable to listen to. And I think that you can kind of hear that in Hand in My Pocket. So I really, really like that song. Number 2 for me is Perfect. So Perfect slows it down. She slows it down a lot here. And sorry, I'm pulling up the Genius right now. But so the Genius description, the song is from the perspective of a parent attempting to live vicariously through their child, who they push hard to achieve to the point it's having a negative impact on the child. So I think it's just like, I mean, it's an interesting concept for a song, but it's like an outlier in this album to me, in the sense that it's acoustic, it's very simplistic, it's a lot slower. It's her kind of just singing in her own way, and I really enjoy it. I wish, like, my only gripe with it is I wish it were later on in the album, because it would be like a nice break, like halfway through. I feel like
it's a breather track.
Right. It's very much a breather track that, came on a little too early for me, but I just, apart from the placement, I just really, really like the song. And like, it's kind of nice to have it in an album like this, that there's not a single other song.
Hey now.
Did I lose you?
Did I lose you guys?
Back. You're back.
Just for a second.
Does my mic sound like shit now?
No, you're good.
Okay.
No worries.
All right.
We got an editor we'll pay to fix it up.
Yeah. Okay, so then number 1 song, and look, man, I'm sorry to be basic here.
Do it.
But I gotta go with Ironic.
Yeah.
Like, just a great song, dude. All in all, great song. And like, I'm kind of basic. I picked 2 singles, but like, it's nice that I can have just like a moment to bring me back to my childhood. I remember hearing it on the radio when I was young, early 2000s, right? Like when they were still playing Alanis Morissette, and yeah, it just takes me back to a place. It's a nostalgia track for me for sure. So really, really enjoy it. And then my honorable mentions. So Mary Jane, she was letting the pipes rip on Mary Jane, man. She was singing really, really well. And here, I know I said she doesn't have like a phenomenal voice. Here, her voice sounds good. Sounds really, really good. And she's flexing the pipes. So good for her.
Well, hold on Mary Jane, because I didn't mention any honorable mentions because I wanted to see where this was all going. But like, that's a dark song. It's about depression. It's about our friend who she can't. She's trying to help, right? And you can only do so much for people, but be a support figure in their life. But that track, it's like the ballad of the album too, which I think is really beautifully done. And you're right. I mean, her voice shines on that track.
Yeah, I think she does a great job. And then You Ought to Know, another basic bitch song, but whatever, classic, forever a classic. So those are my tops of my honorable mentions. So now I'm a little interested, Trey. Let's go into bottom tracks. Are you gonna break my heart a little bit? You could. It's all right. You know, if you got to do what you got to do.
I don't think so.
No.
I think that you and I are going to be aligned on one song, and I think that song was in Anthony's top. I'm going to make that prediction now. But I do want to just address the basicness with an album like this. You know, there's a lot of hits. There's like 5 hits on this album, right? Like this album is one of those rare like pop albums that, you know, something that Taylor Swift puts out nowadays where everything's going to chart.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's no basicness about it, brother. Love what you love.
I get
Fuck
it.
yeah, respect.
Yeah, but song number 1 for my bottom 3 is Right Through You.
Yeah.
I do really like the instrumentation on it, so I want to call that out, especially kind of there's like a guitar like solo or like moment, I think, in the chorus that's like really sick. There's like kind of like heavy, very grunge guitar. I do think that it just gets a little, as the kids say, campy. About, you know, like the thing with the record company executives that are, you know, like essentially sexually abusing women that are in the entertainment industry. I'm not saying it's not a topic that shouldn't be sang about. It definitely should. It's just a little too on the nose for me to like be able to enjoy something like that. You know, it's just
Like
a little too literal.
it's too real for you.
No, it's not too real for me. It's just too literal. Like you took a long hard look at my ass and then played golf for a while. Like that's just a little. It's a little
attitude.
Like, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Man.
Like it's badass. She's saying like "fuck you." Like I respect that part. Just for me, lyrically, a little too like, you know, on the nose. So yeah, that's my 3rd bottom track. And Anthony, I hate to do that to you. I do. My second bottom track is Ironic, only because I feel like some of the things that she listed out as being ironic aren't actually ironic necessarily. You know, like
I think it depends
Hey,
on
what's
the person,
perception,
the time,
right?
the
Yeah.
place, yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, I'm just saying for me, I think necessarily like it's not really the best use of the word ironic. Like he waited his whole damn life to take that flight, and then as the plane crashed down, he thought, "Well, isn't it this nice?" Like, I don't think it's ironic if your plane crashes
On your first
You know?
flight? First one?
No, you
That
know,
is
I'm just-
ironic.
What
as
are the
fuck.
chances? What are the
That's
chances?
ironic as
maybe
fuck.
the issue with this is I don't understand
You
what the word
don't,
ironic
you
means.
don't know what ironic means.
I told you guys, I think I'm getting dumber.
It's literally
By
a
the
whole
day-
song about no.
By the day, I'm getting dumber and dumber. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I guess these brain cells finally started dying.
So it's hang on. It's just so you know, it's happening in the opposite way of what is expected, and typically causing wry amusement because of this.
Okay, thank you for that.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying. All right, and then my like number 1 bottom track is Not the Doctor. I just don't really enjoy it. I think it's kind of goofy. And yeah, that's it. Those are my
All
bottom
right.
3.
That's fair. Anthony, what do you got?
Well, like, Not the Doctor was something that I was going to honorably mention, but I'm glad it came up at this point, you know? But it's like the idea of like you have to do it yourself. You know, that's kind of my perception of that track is that it's like, yeah, I can only give you so much advice, but I'm not the fucking doctor. But I've also never heard anybody say that in real life, but apparently that's like a common phrase to utilize.
Oh, okay.
But
Good to know.
but anyway, so the only bottom track I have, and the only reason I mentioned it here is because I wanted to talk about it, but it's also a hair too long for me in the sense of what the song is about. And it's Forgiven. You know, Forgiven is an interesting track, interesting concept about like how religion can be pushed on you as a youth. And she also compares like her experience to her brother's experience. But a really interesting take on that song. But for me, the guts of this track are too long. I like the ending. I like the reverb effect that it has. But for me, it was just like I said, I needed to put a bottom track, so I put that one down. But I don't really have any other bottom tracks. I can pull shit I like out of all the rest of them, and I think we've mentioned every single song on here except for the first one, perhaps. But
Well,
first one
well,
starts off
hang
with a
on.
bang too. But I guess we
Hang
haven't
on.
gotten there yet. So Blake, what are your bottom tracks?
All right, so first one is All I Really Want.
There we go.
And let me explain why. Because Miss Morissette and Jagged Little Pill, you have to be eased into this type of music. And all I really want
Boom.
is not easing you into this type of music, and it is the first track on the album, and I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know what to expect. And so like the first track starts playing and it's like it's jarring, and it's just me personally, I needed to be eased into this because I didn't expect it to be what it was. And so to me, I was like, not for, like, I feel like if she would have started it with something else, then I may have digested All I Really Want a little bit better. But yeah, not a fan. And like, it's just I don't know. Her voice in the song is just like, I'm just saying it's jarring, you know?
Yeah. But now that you know what you're in for, right? I can definitely see this track giving it a whole nother meaning once you know what's coming, you know? 'Cause
right.
it is like a kicking in the door and now we're coming out with this, right? But yeah, once you dig into it, I think it's like it is a banger of a beginning because it's a banger of an album. I would like to give this to anybody and say, have you heard this before? But
true.
Very true. Dig it. Yeah. What else you got?
Cool. So then my next one is You Learn. So You Learn is like, I don't know how to describe this song, but it feels like something that would be in like a 90s, like not a romance movie, but a 90s I don't like upbeat film coming of age. Like I don't know how to explain it. It just was very basic to me. It just felt so basic. It felt like just like if you told AI just write me an upbeat 90s song, it would just spit this out. So just not too campy, you know?
Two 90s,
too campy. And then my final one is Not the Doctor, and I wrote in parentheses, what the fuck are these lyrics? So I just want to point out the thing that really where I was like, what the fuck am I listening to was I don't want to be your babysitter. You're a very big boy now. I don't want to be your mother. I didn't carry you in my womb for 9 months. Show me the back door. First off, nothing rhymes in that entire sequence I just read to you. And also, what are you on about, lady? Like, what the fuck are you saying? I literally kind of made this face and was like looking around, like, did anybody else hear this? I'm in the room by myself. Like, somebody please validate this strange feeling that I'm feeling right now. And that kind of just goes on throughout the whole song. So yeah, hard fucking pass for me.
But on that note, you know, I mean, you ever had anybody tell you, I'm not your mother? You know, like, I'm not your fucking mother. You get it together. I think that's this song is like, just get your shit together because like I'm not dealing with it. Somebody said they're not your mother. Did they say they didn't carry you for 9 months in their womb?
Not an aggressive. Yeah, they were like, I didn't carry you for 9 months.
Next time you're in that situation with somebody, drop that line, Blake. Say, yo, did I carry you in my womb for 9 months? And just like get your fix out with that line.
I know you like to yell at your team members, Blake. So that'd be a good one to hold on to. Actually,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll keep that in my back pocket for sure.
And if somebody says, "Isn't that Alanis Morissette?" then you buy them drinks that night. Like that is like they are owed that. Fuck yeah.
All right, well, let's get into ratings. So I didn't have there wasn't a Rolling Stone or a Pitchfork one, but there was Rolling Stone Top 500 Albums of All Time. This album is on there. I will give you guys a range, as I always do. It is between 100 and 300. No, I lied. It is between number 1 and 200. Sorry.
Okay.
Between number 1 and 200.
Okay. Trey, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go. You said between 100 and 200?
No, between 0 and 200. Or between 1 and 200.
Yeah. This is a weird rating number.
Yeah.
I don't know, 167?
Dude, I was going to say 175, and I was thinking it's in the 200s, but now that I know it's higher, that just makes me feel so good about this as a whole, but 175.
It is number 69.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. Up top.
Now, okay, I want to bring it back to a lyric. I don't know if it's right through you, but there's a line in there she's talking about you wine dine 69 to me. In 95, somebody drops that line, and now this album is ranked 69. Hell
Legendary.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Shout out
Cool.
Alanis. Mm-hmm.
That's surprisingly high.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah.
I thought so too. All right, well, what do you guys got for ratings? Trey, hit us
I'll
with
go
it.
first. I got it. It's a solid 7. It's
Okay.
very enjoyable. As far as maybe pushing the culture in certain directions, I think it's great. I tried not to do this, but I can't help but be like compare it to big pop albums that drop today. And I think some of those can be really good, and some of them are not necessarily as great. But they don't really feel like they always kind of reflect like something that's happening maybe in the underground. Whereas I feel like this album kind of did. Grunge wasn't fully at the forefront in '95. I feel like, I mean, Nirvana was around, but not like your other big grunge artists. They kind
True.
of came around, Blind Melon, those folks. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a solid 7.
Very
Gotcha.
nice. Anthony?
So I've been going back and forth between two numbers, and I think if a couple songs are shortened, but also if there is an extra production layer to this album, it goes to a 10. But as of right now, until I can learn how to fuck with Ableton and mess around with some shit, 8.5 for me. Wanted to give it a 9, but I'm just wavering 8.5 right now.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's fair.
I think, and like I said, I really don't like having to do this right now because I feel like this is an album that needs to be listened to multiple times to give a fair rating, and I did not listen to it multiple times. But as of right now, I will give it, as Trey said, a 7, but it's a soft 7. It's on a solid 7, as Trey would say. So
Okay.
we're really on the fence there. We could go either way upon the next 2-3 listens. It could just plummet to the ground like when I rewatch Sound of Metal, or it could catapult to the top. You never know. So
Right.
Time will tell. All right. Well, any final thoughts on this before we get into rides or dies?
Blake, I wanted to make you aware that this album has been turned into a Broadway musical that you could see probably touring the U.S. At any time.
Why did you make Blake specifically aware of
Just
that?
because Blake shit on Joker when he hadn't even seen it yet, so I had to mention the Joker in some way.
Gotcha.
But anyway,
Okay.
no, I'm glad y'all fucking. I'm not proud of you because I knew that this was going to happen, but I'm just more validated that this is a fucking solid album that I think holds up almost 19 years later as a banger of an album. So let's more 90s, bring more 90s.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I do want to say, so the final scene of Joker 2 is...
Wait. No. Listeners, we're not doing that.
I will say I think it was a great pick. Great
Hell
pick.
yeah.
And so quintessential 90s. It was a fun listen. And I'm interested to go back and listen to more for sure. And with that being said, speaking of 90s, let's get into rides or dies, and let me lead it off, okay? My song was Champagne Supernova by Oasis. Now, there's a backstory to this. Yes, Trey, you're raising your hand.
No, go ahead. No, this is just, I still don't understand this. Go ahead.
So I messaged Anthony and Trey shortly before sending this Rides or Dies and said, I do not understand the Oasis hype. Because to this day, I still don't. And you know what? I said to myself, if they're this hyped and people like them this much, I'm missing something. Let me go listen to Oasis. So when I sent the song, I was in the midst of slamming beers, playing World of Warcraft, and listening to Oasis albums front to back. And I was like, I'm just going to listen and figure out what it is about this band that everybody loves so much, to the point that they're hyped. Their return, their reunion is so hyped. Everybody's so excited. First off, that reunion tour is not going to last. They fucking hate each other. But I will say,
no one gives they're going to sell any tickets either. Like these massive venues, no one gives that much of a fuck about Oasis here.
Right, but that's the thing. Is like, why is it? So I'm thinking, like, why is it so hyped? So I listened to "What's the Story?" Morning Glory, which is what Champagne Supernova is off of, and my opinion still remains the same. I don't understand the hype, and I think that Oasis was just the grunge hangover, and everybody was like, "All right, let's turn off the grunge music. Let's just put on some Oasis and kick back and relax. Like, we'll listen to Kmart Beatles and just kind of chill out on our beanbag chairs and do our thing and worry about Y2K." And so upon listening to Oasis, I did not find anything super enjoyable about them. But I will say, with all that being said, Champagne Supernova is a phenomenal song. It is so good. I've listened to it and this is the first time I've heard it because I'm not in the Oasis world like that. So
This is the first time you heard it?
the first time I have heard it,
Wow.
and my other friends were like, "How have you not
Really?
heard this song before?"
Yeah.
I swear to God, so
are we.
And so, I look, it's a great song, and for Oasis being, and I don't think they're bad. I think they're mid. I think they're a 6.5 out of 10 band. But I think Champagne Supernova is an 11 out of 10. This song fucking rocks. Everything about it, the instrumentation, the lyrics, inspiring. Yeah. Anyway, what do you guys think?
I mean, Trey, would you say that Oasis is like a 2-hit wonder? You know, with they did Wonderwall, right? Isn't that Oasis?
No, they're really, really big in England. Like people fucking love Oasis.
Because like I've never
albums. Yeah, I wouldn't call them a 1 or 2 hit.
I've never met a human in real life that was like balls deep in Oasis.
Right?
You know, I know people that know those 2 tracks because those 2 tracks are good.
It feels like a psyop.
Thank you.
Blake nailed it. It feels like a psyop.
Is that what he was saying?
It's like the state of North Dakota. It's like the state of North Dakota. That's what Oasis is. Have you ever met someone from North Dakota? No, you haven't.
I know someone that got arrested in North Dakota. Okay. I don't know if that gives more credence to your theory or not.
No, they arrested him because he got too close to the operation.
They brought him to South Dakota to book
sorry, go ahead, Trey.
I think Anthony was going actually.
Well, I mean, it's just I find it interesting to know that there are people that love Oasis just because I've never. I guess I should say I've never given them a chance either. Honestly, I just know these tracks, but like, I also know that Champagne Supernova is like a whole like one-off from their catalog, or at least that's what I've read. But this song is fucking amazing. But I wish that there were more tracks like this song. So if they just like took this formula or took the headspace they were in when they made this song and made albums based off of that, shit, you got like almost like MGMT kind of like mindset into making music, right? If that's fair to say. But yeah, this song rides, but I don't know much else about Oasis.
Maybe
we have to dive into an Oasis album.
Please don't do that to me. These guys are bad, man. They're bad. They're bad. Not just sonically, they're bad people.
They are bad people.
They're bad people. They're legitimately bad.
I don't know this.
Yeah, they're bad. They're bad dudes. I mean, this song is great. I'm not gonna say it dies. It rides. But I really thought for a second you purposely brought a song that died on. Like I thought you were about to.
You would do that. Don't put it past it.
Wonderwall, also a great song. I learned how to play that song on guitar one time just solely for the purpose of a bit. So when my friend came to Birmingham, I could play it on the quad as he arrived. We didn't quite pull that off. But, you know, I sat on the front porch on the stoop. I did it on the stoop.
Nice.
Played Wonderwall as he pulled up. So yeah,
very nice.
But anyway, yeah, that song rides. I'll go next because I'm talking already.
Yeah.
I brought to the pod a Big X The Plug song.
Yeah, this is.
And let me tell you why. Big X The Plug. He's A, the plug, obviously. That goes without saying. But B, is really blowing up.
The song or the guy?
The guy. He's getting big. He's from Texas. He's kind of got this, like, it's almost similar like a Gucci Mane by Rick Ross type of flow.
Are you saying that because he's a fat black guy?
No, but they are similar flows.
Okay.
And like just kind of similar styles, I feel like. He is a fat black man, and the other two are as well. So now I feel kind of shitty.
He's blowing up.
But yeah, no. But what stands out for me are that his beats are super sick. They're like these like soulful hip hop beats. Blake, I feel like you would like maybe some parts of this, maybe some parts you wouldn't. I don't know.
And what is just so everybody knows, what is the title of the track?
Oh yeah, my bad. The title of the song is it's Change, right?
Change Me.
Change Me. But this song actually uses a sample that Pretty Lights uses in Pop Quiz, which is how this song specifically got brought to my attention. But I heard a Big X The Plug because a friend of mine was like drawing and listening to rap music off of his phone speaker on his chest. And I was like, what the fuck is that sound, dude? Like, that's sick. And he was like, oh, this is Big X The Plug. You know what Big X The Plug is? And now I do. And I'm curious how you guys feel about the song.
So,
Anthony?
You sent me this song because you asked me about the sample in it. And so, obviously, my focus goes to that. And I never listened past the sample first when you sent it to me. So then I did listen to it, and this song rides for me literally until Big X, the plug, starts rapping. And maybe it's a learning curve to his voice. Maybe it just throws me off because I was expecting something totally different from just an acoustic standpoint. But yeah, Trey, I hate to do it to you, but I love you. But this song dies for me.
That's fine.
The sample rides though, and the OG's track rides too. But that's how it goes.
Trey, you hit the nail on the head with this one, man. This shit rides hard, dude. And let me tell you something. So I think I've told this story before, but when I first listened to Gunna, who's a rapper that you guys would not like, so I'm not going to bring his albums to the pod, but when I first heard my first Gunna song, I was on a 3-hour flight. Right after that, I downloaded every Gunna album and listened to them front to back on the flight there. And I'm going to do the same shit with Big the Plug on the way to Vegas. I'm going to download his shit. I'm a fucking bootleg. I'm gonna shoot a bootlegger. I'm gonna fucking listen to the whole album. This shit fucking rides, man. Good pick. And I was so shocked to hear this from you. Like, this doesn't seem like a Trey pick, but you nailed it.
I really feel like you like it, and let me tell you, you better get comfortable with this music because if you step in my hotel room on Saturday,
we're playing Big X the Plug, baby.
Big X the Plug.
Oh yeah,
yeah. This is the ultimate pregame music for real.
Yes.
Like I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, this is Pretty Light's pregame music if I've ever heard it.
Yes, and I'm bringing my gold chain too, and I'm throwing on the gold chain as soon as Big X the Plug comes on. All right, Anthony, what do you got?
All right, so my ride or die. So the World Series is about to start this weekend. I've been following two teams all year long, the Dodgers and the Yankees, literally to watch these guys bat, Shohei and Aaron Judge. So like,
got an electric series coming up.
Seeing these teams kind of snake their way through the season and end up where they are, I was so fucking stoked, and naturally wanted to bring a hip hop track because I wanted to bring a hip hop album, but Alanis Morissette just couldn't wait any longer. But either way, pulled somebody off the bench, Mr. Nelly, with this track "Batter Up," him and the Saint Lunatics. It's a classic track, and I think it fits perfectly with what's about to throw down this weekend. So, boys, what'd you think?
I'll go first.
Yeah, go for it, Trey.
So first off, I don't know if y'all know this, but typically I hate baseball. I don't like watching it.
Yes, I am aware of this.
Yeah, I know.
I've tried to get you on this train many times.
Listen, playoff baseball is a little different. All right. I watched the last two Mets-Dodgers games, and I watched like 3 of the Yankees series. Man, electric. I'm so stoked. First off, game 1 and 2 are while we're in Vegas Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, baby.
So that's why we're not going to go to like a dinner or anything on Friday. We're just going to like hang out in our hotel room and like watch the game. Maybe go down to the tables and stuff.
No, dude, you got to go down. You're at MGM that night, right?
Yeah.
Dude, there might be like a big thing going on though. But
yeah. We'll take this offline. There's some mitigating factors. But anyway, I'm really stoked to watch these games. I'd forgotten all about this song. Like it was like I'd never heard it before.
Oh hell yeah!
And this song absolutely rides. And if you come in my hotel on Friday, Saturday night, we will be pre-gaming to Batter Up.
Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah!
Yeah, the song hard rides. Well done. Good pick.
Yeah. Yeah, hard rise. I mean, fucking Nelly. Like, and I was very like, both of your picks kind of threw me for a loop this week. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, very much not a typical Anthony song. Like, more than it's not a typical Trey song. This was like out of left field, no pun intended there, for Anthony.
Hey.
But yeah, man. And I watch. Look, the Marlins suck ass, but I still watch regular season baseball. But man, I will say, postseason baseball is some of the most electric postseason environment you can have. The wild card games were fucking insane. Home games, the thing is like, I don't think people understand that baseball stadiums sell out 50,000 tickets. Like, and when a home run pops in a 50,000 person outdoor stadium, woo-wee, you can't fucking dial that shit back. Like the Guardians, I don't know if y'all watched the Cleveland series. You watched it, but the Cleveland, when they came back in that one game and hit those homers, like God, man, they gave me chills. So yeah, we will try to get into Vegas early enough, Trey, and we're gonna watch this game for sure. We're gonna watch one of them in Vegas because it's gonna be electric. But yeah, hard rides for the song. Hard rides for the song.
Fuck yeah.
Was that Rise Across? Oh no, Anthony derailed us for Trey's.
The plug. I'm not down with the Big X yet. Not yet.
Not yet. All right, so let's get into Friday the 13th, the original Friday the 13th, which I need to pull it up. Came out in 1980 was when the first Friday the 13th came out. So I don't know if you guys had seen this before. Obviously, we're on a scary movie run right now, Amanda and I. So we've been plowing through several scary movies. She has not seen any of the Screams, and we have not ventured down that lane yet. We still have about 9 days left to do that. So we're gonna be doing that. But we've gone through some Texas Chainsaw movies. We've gone through Disturbia, some other ones. But yeah, man, this is a quintessential horror movie, a classic. It's so 1980s, but man, you can just see the horror movie formula, the slasher formula come to life here. And I debated between this and Nightmare on Elm Street, the original Nightmare on Elm Street. But yeah, I really liked it. So what did you guys think? Was it your first watch?
So I guess Trey, you want to go?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so because I have an interesting experience with this movie, and so when we were in high school, it was kind of like a thing, I guess, to put on scary movies in the backgrounds at parties, or especially for Halloween parties, right? And there was a party with this movie on in the background, and I remember asking like, what movie is on? And they said Friday the 13th, and I was like, fuck, I do not want to see this movie this way. Like, I haven't seen it yet, and definitely don't want it to just be like lingering in the background, So I remember like just that party like blocking it out, and for the longest time I hadn't seen the movie.
TV with his hand up.
You don't understand. No, it happens to me now when I go into people's houses for like dog training lessons, and they have the Saints game on the TV or NFL game on the TV, where I have to literally have a conversation with someone and not look at this periphery of the game happening. So I've gotten really good at it, and it started back then with this movie. But mentally, I had also blocked out the film entirely. So like I hadn't seen this movie till this watch. So such a fucking fun experience for me, because I just remember I had all these notions, or I had all these thoughts of what the movie was about based off of that old party experience. But what a ride this was. It's an excellent movie, and I learned a lot about like just my perceptions of Friday the 13th, because I hadn't honestly seen it. And in this movie, assuming people have seen it, it doesn't show Jason with this mask like that. The iconic look of Jason is not in this movie at all, which I found so like just refreshing that this series like started this way. So fucking great pick, I think, Blake.
Fuck yeah. Spoiler alert, by the way, if nobody's seen the movie. Trey, what did you think?
First off, I thought it was wooey wooey scary, and I did not like that part. But
Blake's got a spit take right happening right now.
It was so, dude. I don't fuck with scary shit.
What was the scariest part for you?
I don't know, man. It's like
the whole vibe is scary. It is scary.
I mean, it's a summer camp. Right? I will say. Did you ever go to summer camp as a kid, Trey?
No, I went to vacation Bible school though.
Similar vibes.
Yeah.
Kind of,
that's probably scarier, to be honest.
Yeah, in retrospect.
Lots of hookups at vacation Bible school for sure.
Well, you know what? We'll go that offline as well.
Save it for the Patreon, right?
Yeah, we'll save that for the Patreon. Patreon sponsor us. I don't know if that's how that works. So I thought it was good though. Like I think it achieved its goal. This just like isn't my genre. But I did really like. First off, it took me forever to realize that Kevin Bacon was Kevin Bacon.
I know, right?
Hell yeah!
Yeah, I was like, I know this face, but I was trying not to look it up. And then after I figured that out, then I was using just a shout out for Amazon, like the little facts that they have when you like are watching something on Prime.
Like when you pause it or whatever.
Pause it, or like if you watch on your computer, like I did. If you like just touch if you scroll, it'll like pull up. So yeah, I liked it.
What was? Did you remember any facts they told you?
No, not anything off the top of my
Kevin
head.
Bacon is in this scene right now.
This is Kevin Bacon. No, but there's like fun little like goofs and stuff like that where it's like this is like you like pile like I'm looking at one right now. It's like she starts piling things in front of the door, even though the door opens outwards. Like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like,
I thought that was
like
hilarious.
that. Yeah.
I don't know if y'all. So first off, when I realized it was Kevin Bacon, I almost sent y'all the Family Guy clip of the donkey arguing with that guy where he's like, "Nope, Kevin Bacon wasn't in Footloose," and the guy's like, "What are you talking about? He's the main star," and he goes, "Nope, wasn't him. You're wrong. You lose." That's the first thing I thought of. But I was like, I don't want them to know that Kevin Bacon is in this movie because I want them to see, I want to see if they figure it out themselves. But also, okay, so the sound, that sound. So funny story about that. First off, the director said that it's supposed to be "kill mommy" cut off. It's supposed to be like the word "kill" and the word "mommy" cut off,
like interspliced.
A friend of mine at Bonnaroo one year went to go pee somewhere at night, like in the woods, and someone was like walking by her and made that noise. And she was like, "That's not fucking funny. Don't do that." Like, it actually scared her. So every time I hear it, that's what I think of. But yeah, I think the movie, like, the fact that it's Jason's mom that ends up being the killer, and obviously they get further into that later on, and like the ending being ambiguous, like, was it a dream? Did it actually happen? Right. I think is great. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely like, sorry, go ahead, Trey.
So I haven't seen the other ones. Is Jason like an aquatic being? Is he like an Aquaman type of deal?
He's a boy. The boy that was drowned in the lake.
This is what you need to know, Trey.
But he comes back to life?
The OG
There's
horror
some
movie
weirdness.
villains
It goes crazy.
They can't die. OG horror movie villains can't die.
But he wasn't a villain when he died. He was just a young boy.
So Jason, Freddy, and Michael are off limits in terms of death. They will never die, and so there's always a way they come back.
Maybe.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it genuinely is like it's a pretty scary movie. Like there are moments where you're on edge, right, and you don't know what's gonna happen or who the killer is, and like it's pretty gruesome at points. But for a 1980s movie, like, you can see how it set up an entire very successful, very famous franchise after the fact, right? And like, obviously nothing is as good as Scream, and no one does it better than Scream and Wes Craven. Shout out to Wes Craven, but definitely up there for sure. And also, last fun fact, in the very first Scream, when they call the first girl at the beginning of the movie, they're asking her about her favorite scary movie, and then they're doing trivia. They say, "Who's the killer from Friday the 13th?" And she says, "Jason, it's Jason, it's Jason." Like, she's trying to save her life, and they're like, "It's actually Mrs. Voorhees." And then they fucking kill her. So yeah, I thought it was great. I'm glad you guys liked it.
Yeah, solid pick. And you know, something that I'm going to do from here on out when there is... So, Trey, you didn't get to watch these movies with us, but Blake and I did the X trilogy with Pearl and X and Maxine. And it's so cool to go to these original, films and pull out the inspiration from these movies that landed in Pearl and X and Maxine. So, like, all the lake shots... Blake, did you pick up on the lake shots, bringing 100%. You back to X? Also, there's a line at the beginning part of this movie. I don't remember who says it, but somebody, it might be one of the counselors, or actually it's the opening scene, I think, when they're when they get murdered before the credits even start. Somebody says, like, "You're special." You're special. And that was something Pearl was always saying, that she was special. So a lot of little nuanced things that come out of these movies. It's just it's cool to see them highlighted how they were originally done. So
yeah, very
excellent.
Sick. All right, so next week we're switching up the order because Trey wants to veto his album pick. So it's going to be my album pick, Anthony's movie pick, and boy, do I have an album for you guys. And look, you guys have led me astray. You've had me picking country albums and rock music. And you know what? It's time to get back to our roots. It's time to get back to our hip hop roots. So we are doing... Does anybody want to guess before I call it, or you just want me to call it?
I want you to give me an era of hip hop.
It is between 2007 and 2011.
Carter 2. No, we already done that.
We already did Carter 2.
I'm thinking it's
Yeah.
it's Jay-Z. It's something Jay-Z. So
I think we're gonna do 808s and Heartbreaks.
I would love to do that album, but I know Anthony would hate it. So we are gonna do
Never know.
No Ceilings by Lil Wayne.
Wayne.
And let me tell you,
Mixtape version though.
mixtape version. So that
Yeah.
thank you, Trey. That is a crucial part of this. So the mixtape version, not the Spotify version, both for you two and the listeners. So I'll send you guys the track list. But
I'll
you
post
should.
it, yeah.
I have it. I know Anthony has it. If we have to send it to anybody, Trey, if you need it, we'll find it. But it's the mixtape version. So there's a total of, hang on, I have the track list up right now. So there is a total of 21 songs on the album, several of which did not make it to the streaming version. And I'll have you guys know a little fun fact.
Hell yeah.
This mixtape was released on October 31st, 2009. So almost the 15-year anniversary of this mixtape. So widely
yeah.
regarded
Topical.
as one of Wayne's best. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. Anthony, what do you got for the movie?
All right, so for the movie, we talked about Friday the 13th being like the first of the series. You mentioned Scream, Texas Chainsaw, Halloween, Exorcist, Nightmare on Elm Street, but there is only one. Now, we will only pick this movie if both of you have not seen it. So if you have seen it, I got backups. But have either of y'all seen the original Saw movie?
Yes.
I don't think I have.
Okay.
I would love to watch it again, and I have fun stories about the first time I saw it.
Okay. Now, if you guys love me, and I don't ask for much, but Blake, tomorrow night.
I'm not watching all 13 Saw.
No, you're not. You don't. No, you do not have to do that.
Yes!
Trust me, I've done it for you. I've done it for you. What I'm saying is, Blake, this is the 20th anniversary of this movie right now. So on Wednesday night, which is tomorrow, so folks listening, this was yesterday. Blake, if you love me, go see the unrated version of this in the theaters, because you can only see this movie for the first time once. And if you do it that way, it will influence I will buy your ticket. You can't tell how passionate I am about this series. This is my Scream. I'm balls deep in Saw. So
All right.
I saw it yesterday. So if you can go see it in theaters, you will do yourself a massive favor.
I will let you know if I
tomorrow.
can swing it 100%.
I feel you. But so we're going to watch Saw.
Fuck yeah.
There you go.
All right. Well, so No Ceiling, Saw next week. I'm going to end the call. Trey, stay on here because we need to talk about Vegas shit. But yeah, everybody, hope you enjoyed. Was a blast. Anthony, Trey killed it as usual. So yeah, we'll see you guys with a Vegas recap, a Vegas Pretty Lights recap, and some great albums. come next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.